Next, you're gonna start cleaning your chiles, which means basically you just I cut both ends off and then slit them open with scissors, and then see if I can open it up. You gotta clean all of the seeds and the little veins out of there, or else it can be very bitter. And then I actually just cut them into smaller pieces because it's easier to manage, and throw them in the pot that we're gonna simmer them in. So far, this is the chile guajillo. Also, I try to buy them really dry, because if they're not really dry, the seeds can sometimes get stuck to the insides because they get like kind of sweet and gummy, almost like a raisin, and then it's just a pain in the ass to take the seeds out. Okay, so this is what I was talking about. So this one, mostly the chile ancho, they get really sticky and sweet inside, and like these are going to be such a pain to get off. So I'm actually just going to rinse them off with water, and it's not as big of a deal as you would think because we're going to boil them shortly anyways. And I did want to mention as well, the chiles de árbol, you don't have to remove the seeds. They go in completely whole. Okay, so now that we have essentially 9 chile guajillo, 6 chile ancho, and 5 chiles de árbol in a pot, cut up, de-seeded, deveined. I cover them with water, I bring it to a boil, simmer for 5 minutes, and then you turn it off and let it steep for another 5 minutes. So this is one huge can, which is 6 pounds of hominy. Usually I use Goya because it's the best one, but since it's like pozole season, can you go see what the babies are doing? Since it's pozole season, like they keep being out of it. So Juanita's is all right, but do not buy Bush. Bush is nasty. So basically you just pour it out. You need to wash them really good. Sometimes people pick out these little tiny black things that are in there, but honestly, ain't nobody got time for that. So now this is boiling. It's been boiling for a little while. Normally the chicken would be in there and you would remove it and shred it at this point, but since I'm doing vegetarian, I'm just gonna add the hominy and I'm gonna simmer it for about 30 minutes. I'm sorry, I neglected to state that you need to remove the aromatics also with a fine mesh sieve, because they're not gonna stay in there for the soup. This was just to flavor the broth. So now that the chilies have finished steeping, I have added them, including their water, the actual water from the boiling, not clean water, to a blender, along with a tablespoon of oregano, a tablespoon of thyme, a tablespoon of cumin seeds, 3 cloves of garlic, and about half of an onion, and now I'm going to blend it until it's smooth. This is what the puree looks like once it's done being blended. You have to do it for quite a while actually, and then I'm just gonna strain it directly into the soup, if you will, and then all of these solids, you can discard them. I use a whisk to help me pass the liquid through because it is pretty thick and it takes a while. So basically do it in a couple batches until the whole thing is in the pot. Okay, so this is what you're left with after you've added all of the chile to the pot. It's a really deep red broth, and then we just have the granos in there, or the hominy. Sorry, because my babies are crying, but if you haven't added your chicken back to your pot, you would make sure to do that at this point, or your pork, whatever you're deciding to make your pozole with. And then I'm going to simmer it for about another 30 or 40 minutes. And then you serve it topped with shredded iceberg lettuce, fresh minced onion, cilantro, radishes, and then we eat it with tostadas topped with sour cream and salt on the side. And you also sprinkle fresh Mexican oregano on top of the soup before you eat it. So I hope this was helpful for you.